Ramattra is the latest tank to hit the Overwatch scene, and this destructive soldier turned peaceful monk turned resistance cult leader is all about these hands. And with this guide we will bear witness to the annihilation this dude brings. Probably. But first, I apologise if I sound a little off. I am pretty ill at the moment and I am doing everything I can in my power to get this video out, so if you appreciate that, don't forget to like, share, subscribe, hit the bell thingy, and follow me on the Twitch and Twitters to join in with fun moments like this.
Everyone's giving you the cold shoulder.
Yeah, I noticed. I mean, I guess this is what happens when you protect someone.
That's what having a criminal record does to you.
What being a hero does to you.
Turns out your past follows you wherever you go.
Turns out I'm a hero, and everyone should treat me like the hero I am. And with that said, I am Tech, and this is my guide to being the best Ramattra you can possibly be. Probably. Now, Ramattra has been dubbed by the devs the tempo tank, utilizing a fairly reasonable cooldown synergy to cycle through somewhat phases to keep the enemy under pressure. This is through his omnic form and nemesis form. Omnic form is the default form and has 450 base health. No armor, no shields, just a flat 450. Speed wise, he is on par with a lot of tanks like Roadhog, Sigma. He has no mobility tools whatsoever, so a Lucio is going to be a godsend here. His omnic primary fire has Ramattra send out his nanites like a Gatling gun. These are projectiles, thus have travel time, so you'll want to aim where the opponent is going and not where they are. Think Vegeta versus Frieza. Don't be Vegeta. The big plus is that there is no fall off damage to this attack, so it will do the same damage at 20 meters as it would point blank. This means those headshots are very valuable. His omnic secondary erects a 1000 HP barrier that lasts for a very short amount of time. This can only be placed on surfaces, so will not protect you from any attacks from high angles. And its cooldown is quite long for something so important, but the cooldown starts the moment the barrier appears. So by the time the barrier has dissipated, you'll have about 8 to 10 seconds left on the cooldown, which plays into the tempo tank aspect. Now you can use this barrier to block off a choke point to push your team through in maps like Eichenwald, or you can block the enemy back line to prevent the tank, if they've pushed forward, getting healed. But this is only 1/3 of his value. The other third comes from his first ability, Nemesis form. This causes Ramattra to bulk up into his own Armstrong, granting him an extra 150 health in armor. This makes him surprisingly bulky, but it also alters his primary and secondary fires. His Nemesis primary has Ramattra throw hands, delivering a shockwave that will pierce through barriers and enemies alike. The damage isn't too bad, taking 4 hits to kill your standard 200 health hero, but you can also use a quick melee to get that kill a lot faster, cancelling the third shot. A little 3-jab hook, if you will. The big downside to this primary is the range. It ain't much, and his speed makes it a lot harder for you to land hits if the opponent chooses to flee. Like I said, a Lucio or even a Mei can kinda help here, as Mei can use the wall to block their escape route off. His Nemesis secondary is a block. This mitigates a lot of damage and can be used freely in this form, so you can block a big hit and keep going. However, this is only to the front, meaning if the enemy team decides to pincer Ramattra, he's gonna get shredded. Worse still is this form only lasts for 8 seconds, to which he will revert and be on another 8-second cooldown. This means that prolonged blocking is not a favoured answer to the fight. The idea is to block and jab like you're in actual fisticuffs. Say a Rhine is swinging, you punch a few times, block a hit, punch a few times, block a hit. He's going to go down a lot quicker than you are, and this kind of play will get you more value out of the block and the Nemesis form in the long run. His second ability, Ravenous Vortex, is one, usable in both forms, and 2, sends out a nanite grenade that on impact with the floor will create a field that will damage, slow enemies while also rooting them to the floor so long as they are in that area. They can still walk and run and use any form of horizontal based escape tools, but they can't jump or use any flight mechanics. So characters like Echo, Farah and Mercy will have a lot harder time getting to the skies. Now this move won't do too much if they are already up there, as the verticality of the attack leaves a lot to be desired and will not reach a Farah at peak height. So yeah, Blizzard kind of lied in the whole trailer and they made this move out to be way better than it actually is, but it's still your second best move in the game. Throw this out just before you go Nemesis and take full advantage of that damage and slow effect. My big tip for this attack is to get a feel of using it from the respawn. The cooldown isn't amazing, but it will count down more or less as the nade leaves your hand. And with some good angles and timing, you can use that wall bounce to lay a small trap at the enemy's feet while you're making your way back to the fight. For this, the reverse nade tool will do you wonders, as by the looks of it, Ram's nade has almost the same arc and range as Ana's nade. So for now, practice with Ana until that workshop gets updated and Ramattra is usable. Finally, his ultimate, Annihilation, is the polar opposite to his brother Zenyatta's ultimate, where one heals in a large radius, the other one damages in a large radius. It also pops him back into Nemesis form for some more hands. The biggest gimmick for this is that while it is one of the shortest duration ultimates, at a measly 3 seconds, this ultimate will pause the timer so long as you are dealing damage to someone. This can make overtime a nightmare for the losing side, as if they want to contest, they gotta eat the damage along with D's hands. Still, this move works on line of sight, so barriers will block it, and with Ram's pace, he will need a Kiriko or Lucio to get real value. The best way I've found to use Ram's ult is right after Nemesis form ends, as you basically have a double Nemesis blowout. Overall, while it's too early to really place Ram anywhere, I will say that he is not the monster we thought he would be. In fact, for the guy who they want you to pay for, he's a lot weaker than I thought. His staff, while great at poking and dealing damage, still make him another projectile-based tank, coming with all the issues they suffer with. The biggest being dealing with aerial enemies. The one move we thought would be a real threat to those air-based shenanigans is actually completely useless on him once they're in the air, but it's still good everywhere else. The biggest issue I have with him is his impact. While yes, he can do a fair amount of damage, and he can survive well enough, I feel like a good hog will rip him to shreds. His barrier is very unforgiving and only lasts seconds. Then you are stuck waiting for it to return. This shortcoming proposes a more hyper-aggressive play from the tank. Ram has to get in with enough damage to warrant slapping that nade out, then giving the enemy these hands. But when he does, he is deadly so long as a support is with him. Just remember to keep that reticle at head height, slap that shield, pop that nade, and throw them hands, and so long as there's good heals coming your way, those squishies won't know what hit them. And if you don't know what just hit you, don't forget to like, share, subscribe, hit the bell thingy, and follow me on the Twitch and Twitters to hang out and enjoy some games once in a while. Also, if you find any tips and tricks yourself, let us know in the comment section below, and finally tune in next time where we go and work on the next tank who got some love in this patch, Doomfist. But until that day, this has been Techno Odin. Stay safe, claim skulls, smash bosses, and experience tranquility.